Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to Computer Games Hardware. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the video. How you guys doing? Hope you're doing really well. It's 4:30 in the morning at the moment and I've just rolled out of bed and woken up to an AMD Adrenalin driver update 23.9.1. It's chock-a-block full of new features, new stuff, really heavy on the support for the 7000 series GPU owners. We've got Anti-Lag Plus, we've got Hypr-RX, we've got a lot to cover. Before we get to it, just want to say a big thank you to all our subscribers, and if you find any of the content that we do here at Computer Games Hardware interesting or valuable, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out, so thank you very much. Alright, so let's get stuck into the new feature highlights. So new feature highlight one is AMD Radeon Anti-Lag Plus, which takes the responsive gaming to the next level by introducing per-game profiling to intelligently pace frames, further reducing input lag on RDNA 3 based Radeon GPUs. So you can get your settings really dialed in, and it supports the anti-lag per game, per profile basis, so you can tune it the way you want to and get the best most efficient anti-lag out of each game. What's the difference between anti-lag and anti-lag plus? Well, what anti-lag does, it paces the CPU load to make sure that it doesn't get too far ahead of the GPU workload, to make sure that then there's not a big queue in the CPU's workload to catch up. Okay, and what anti-lag plus does, it applies frame alignment with the game code itself for a better frame syncing, which leads to lower latency in per game experiences. So it uses the game code to allow for frames to sync up with those CPU and GPU workloads, so that it is better pacing all those applications at the same time. Next up in the new feature highlights, we have AMD Radeon Boost. Now supports AMD Radeon Anti-Lag Plus and improves image quality through awareness of mouse sensitivity, reducing the image quality impact of dynamic resolution switching during motion, typically seen with high DPI mice. It also notes that AMD Software Edition 23.9.1 introduces AMD Radeon Boost support for Resident Evil 4 Remake, Ghostwire and Ghostwire Tokyo, which delivers extra performance and increased responsiveness with little impact to image quality. New feature highlight number 3. AMD Hypr-RX. So we're introducing AMD's new driver experience that allows users to optimize their games using AMD software features for their RDNA 3 based Radeon GPUs, achieving increased performance and lower latency with ease. A lot of you won't have Hypr-RX. I don't have it on my GPU, but I will use my driver as an example, and I'll show you how to go. So it's updated. Don't panic. It's coming in Q1 in 2024. AMD is getting ready for some of their huge sponsored titles like Cyberpunk and things like that for RDNA 3 GPUs. New feature highlight number 4. AMD Software Adrenalin Edition 23.9.1 introduces the ability to intelligently combine AMD Radeon Anti-Lag Plus, Boost and Radeon Super Resolution to achieve improved performance and latency reduction than these features can achieve on their own. So that's essentially what Hypr-RX does. It combines all the best of these things and puts them together, so you get the anti-lag, you get the frame generation and all those good things that are on the way. We're going to look at the what's next, which is not usually in the driver updates, but here we go. So AMD Radeon Anti-Lag Plus, initially supporting 12 games. New game support for AMD Radeon Anti-Lag Plus will be released through AMD Software Adrenalin Edition updates in the coming months, so look out for all that stuff. Hypr-RX experience will continue to grow, including support for AMD fluid motion frames to boost FPS using frame generation for DirectX 11 and DirectX 12 games in Q1 2024. Alright, over to some fixed issues. Alright, so let's get stuck into the fixed issues. There's only one fixed issue for this driver, and that is that there's an error message that may be observed when selecting spatial sound format for Dolby Atmos for home theater. Okay, so that's a very specific issue. It's funny that a week ago that wasn't on the known issues list, so they've identified that one and fixed that one pretty quickly. So there you go. Alright, let's get over to the known issues. So alright, we know most of these known issues, so we won't get stuck into them too in depth, but we'll just highlight them quickly and move on. So known issues, as per the last drivers, performance metrics overlays may report NA for FPS on various games. Known issue number 2, audio may intermittently become out of sync with video when recording from AMD Software Adrenalin Edition with AV1 codec. Display may not reach correct brightness with certain games on select Samsung FreeSync Premium Pro monitors or TVs with local dimming settings enabled. Again, that was on the previous one that we just talked about in our video yesterday, so go check that one out if you want to look at those issues in more detail. Huge new feature stack, and while we're doing it, let's have a look at some of the features in the drivers. We'll get onto the computer and we'll show you how to enable some of these features on RDNA 3 GPUs. We'll take a look at some of the new features and the UI design in the Adrenalin software. As you can see, we have some new features in our AMD 23.9.1 Adrenalin Edition software. The most notable from the homepage is the graphics profile that you can see here. So let's go into it. If you go in, you can manage your graphics profile, and there are a couple of different changes to those. I won't have all the changes in my software edition because I have an RDNA 2 based GPU. So if you're not seeing it, don't worry. It's because you've got an older GPU and these features are primarily for RDNA 3 based GPU owners. AMD have promised that those features are coming, so we can hold them to task to that if they take too long. Hypr-RX has been long in the pipeline, so be patient and you'll be able to get these features. So if we have a look at it, the first thing that I noticed is that the global graphics settings have changed just a little bit. From what I can gather, they've dropped the esports profile and they've introduced the performance and quality profiles. So if you select those, you'll be able to get the best performance, or you can customize. You can leave them by default or customize them to suit your gaming needs. I like to customize mine. I keep my stuff pretty bare. I'll show you guys here. So I keep a lot of that stuff turned off just to get the best performance in standard rasterization, and then I'll flip on FSR if I need to. So yep, I like to keep things pretty basic in my driver edition. It just gives you a little bit performance, but that's all. That might change with all these features as we get into them. So if you have a look at it, you see that, so you'll see your graphics profile. You'll be able to enable performance mode or manage your profile. You'll also be able to go into your games library and you'll be able to optimize these. So let's go into Baldur's Gate, and then you can tune your gaming performance for the best optimization for your machine. Again, I'm getting optimal performance. I'm getting above 60 FPS, 60 so I can probably do a little bit better in here. And you can see I can come in here and I can choose my performance, quality, power saving, default or custom settings on a per game basis. So you could already do that, but there's a heavy emphasis on doing that, particularly with Hypr-RX, which will be able to turn on anti-lag plus and a fluid frame generation and all those things like that. So keep a lookout for those things. You'll be able to enable those things, Hypr-RX, from the custom graphics profile. So where we have where most people will have performance, quality, power saving, default and custom, RDNA 3 users will also have Hypr-RX. So if you do have that, turn it on. Let us know in the comments down below how those features are working in some of those 12 games. Alright, so another interesting change that they have made to the Adrenalin drivers is the overlay. So I've turned on all the metrics that I can turn on in the Adrenalin drivers, and it's I've got it at 200%, and it means that it's taking up the whole screen on the left hand side. So that's some game real estate that I probably don't want to give up. So what I might do is say, alright, I want to turn off all the graphs. So now what you can do is in select metrics, you can turn off all the graphs with the click of one button. That looks much better and cleaner now. So now I only have the metrics that I'm looking for. All right, I've got my frames, my frame times, but still it's a little bit too much information for me. So what I can do is I can start going through, and I want the FPS, I want the frame rate. Maybe I'm not looking for the frame time while I'm enjoying my games and the 99 percentile, so I will turn those off. Also, what you can do is you can just turn off everything. Alright, so I've turned off the whole metrics overlay, and I said, well, when I like to game, I like to see the FPS, I like to see the GPU temperature and the CPU temperature. So now, with everything off, I can just turn those three things on rather than turning everything off. So I'm going to put my frame rate, I'm going to go into my GPU, and I'm going to select my GPU temperature, and then I'm going to go into my CPU temperature, and I'm going to turn that on as well. And then, so you can see they're all up there, and then I can use my shortcut, and there you go. I've got my FPS, my CPU temperature, and my GPU temperature, and my CPU temperature. So that's generally how I like to do it. When we're doing these Adrenalin drivers, if you'd like to see more detailed information, I'm more than happy to turn on whatever metrics that you're looking for. So let me know in the comments down below if there's something that you want to see. Okay, so how are these drivers performing? Let's get stuck into some games and test out how these drivers are performing. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I've really enjoyed making these, so I'll keep making them if you keep watching them, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Bye for now.